So Tilray recently announced their Q4 earnings, and I think we were all pretty pleasantly surprised, including the analysts. So I wanted to go over some of the news, the good, the bad, the merger, the future of the company. I'll try to get through the news as quickly as possible and share my thoughts at the end. So 3 of the key points from the Q4 was their adult use cannabis sales rose 25.4 million. That's a 27% increase. Canadian medical revenue was 4.2 million. That's 24% higher. And international medical revenue was 11.7 million. That's 44% higher. So these are massive increases, guys. It's a really good sign. So they did have rebounding revenue. Tilray announced total Q4 revenue of 56.6 million, a 20.5% year-over-year jump, and a 10% quarter-over-quarter increase. Importantly, the company's cannabis revenue soared 46% year-over-year to 41.2 million. That growth has been driven by 191% higher international medical cannabis sales and 49% higher Canadian adult use recreational marijuana sales. So as most of us know, Tilray has moved into the UK market, expanding into Spain, and has received the first market authorization in Portugal, which is also fantastic news. The fact that they're the very first in Portugal, to me, is just, you know, the sky is the limit. So the bad is that the hemp sector fell 82% year over year to 15.3 million. And Tilray attributed the decline to a large customer shifting to a private label product, along with changes in consumer shopping patterns due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So personally, I'm not too worried about the hemp sector being down. We'll see what happens when, you know, the vaccine gets mass distributed and people start going back to normal life. I think that will pick back up. That's my opinion. This is not financial advice. So also their gross margins have been improving. So Tilray's gross margin in the third quarter was a paltry 7%, but the cannabis producer's gross margin jumped to 29% in the fourth quarter. The year-over-year comparison looked even better. Tilray's gross margin in Q4 of 2019 was negative 121%. So the company's higher revenue helped improve Tilray's gross margin. However, the main difference was a significantly lower cost of sales in Q4. So they have recorded a much lower inventory valuation than it did in the prior period, and that pulled the cost of sales down. So the bad news is that Tilray's average cannabis net cost per gram rose year over year. I believe it was at $1.50 or so American, and now it's all the way up at like $3.63. I'll throw it up on the screen. This increase stemmed mainly from the company's discontinuation of bulk sales and to a lesser extent from greater sales of cannabis derivative products, which have a higher cost than the dried flower. So like CBD oil. What's that stuff my friends used to like? It was like a crystallized version, but I forget what it's called. Maybe I'll throw it up on the screen. So arguably the best news for Tilray in the fourth quarter was its positive trend for adjustment earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Tilray delivered on its goal of achieving positive adjusted EBITDA in Q4. So the merger between Tilray and aphria is supposed to close in quarter 2, so that's coming up in 2021. So keep that date on your radar. This is going to drive the share price up, and this is why I've been investing into Tilray. This is why I continue to increase my position in Tilray while it dips, because I do believe that this merger is going to be huge, and all the news is saying that it is. However, aphria shareholders will own a majority of the combined company, 62%. So that's something to remember, whether you want to invest in aphria, in Tilray. Personally, I have both companies, as I see this merger just benefiting both, and as a whole, it will be the largest, I believe, the largest cannabis company. So the combined company will be the largest global cannabis company based on pro forma revenue, with scale, and breedeth across geographies and complete portfolio of market leading brands in all major cannabis products categories. So they will be the largest global cannabis company. We are in the early stages of the continued development and expansion of the global cannabis market. So I totally agree with him. I think these are the early stages. That's why I believe in these companies long term. This is a long-term play for me. In 1 to 2 years, I think about where the companies are going to be at, and all I see is growth. All I see is dollar signs. This is just my personal opinion, not financial advice. And the company reported cash of $261.3 million as of February 16th. So this merger is taking place in Q2. I believe it is going to happen. I mean, all signs are pointing towards it. And all I see for this company is growth. Yes, there's so much volume. There's so much volatility. But for me, it's a long-term play. So I'm not really too worried about the volatility in the short term. All right, guys, I hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Much love, guys. Take care.